Hey everybody, Mr. Street here. Today I'm going to be working on attaching wires to a electrical receptacle. Okay, right now I've got one here where it's kind of half, 2/3 been done. I'm going to actually take it apart and start from scratch to show you the whole process. But if we look really close here, the main thing to be aware of is that my objective is something like this, where I have stripped off enough of the plastic insulation to expose enough bare wire. I get a really good connection underneath that screw head and up against a little metal piece underneath of it. Okay. At the same time, I don't want to strip away too much insulation and leave a lot of bare wire here, particularly on this black wire, exposed. Okay, so it's a little bit of a balancing act like so many other things. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video now and go ahead and switch it up to to look down here at the table. You won't see me anymore. I know you'll be very disappointed, but then I'm going to work down here on the table on stripping and wrapping that wire, getting it good and tight on the screw of the receptacle. Okay, so my next task is to strip the outside of the wire here. This utility knife works well if I'm very careful not to cut into the inside insulation, just cut through this outer layer. Okay, a little bit of finagling here will get the plastic broken open. Maybe some pliers to help me. There we go. And that I've probably exposed enough. Now, in the real world, what you're trying for is to have this part clamped into the place it comes into the metal box or the plastic box, the switch box or outlet box that's fastened in the wall, right? So the little clampy thingy, you want it to grip on the outer insulation. And then inside the box, you don't need the outer insulation anymore. Matter of fact, it just gets in your way. The other thing you'll do inside the box is strip off this paper covering on the ground wire, right? So we can take that away. Okay, the next thing is then strip the insulation from here. And in the video, they show it taking about this much. I give a little tiny bit more. If I find that my bare wire is a little too long, I can always trim some of it off. But if we crush this like this onto the insulation, usually it makes the insulation easy to peel off down to that point, right, like that. And then maybe I'll take my utility knife and trim it off, or you can even use the the wire cutter things again to trim that off, right? Now, I'm not going to take the time right now to have you all watch me do every connection on here. I'm going to really concentrate on doing 1 or 2 connections, and then I'll come back later and see how it works. I don't want to make the tape run too long on this. Now, as I showed in the video, we're going to take our round nose pliers. See, I've stripped that wire to a nice distance, and I'm going to bend it 90 degrees like that to the original wire, right? And now take that with the round nose and roll it into this eye shape, right? And so hopefully this will be a good size to go around the mounting screw on the side of the receptacle. Receptacles like this have longer and shorter slots. The longer slot corresponds to the neutral side, and the neutral side is also the silver screw. Okay, so and then the shorter side of the receptacle connects to the brass screw, which is the hot side. And typically, in normal electrical wiring, black is hot, white is neutral, and the bare wire is ground. Okay, so I take this guy here and that's black wire. And I'm going to put it on here in the direction so that the tightening of the screw also helps to tighten the loop of the wire. Okay, and I try to get my pliers down in here because I'm going to actually try to hold the end of the wire and kind of rotate the whole thing a little bit. You see, I'm holding it here and pulling on this side of the wire to try to make that that loop really tight around the screw head. And I think I've done a good job there. I'll go ahead and tighten this up then, clockwise to tighten, nice and snug. And I should end up with, hopefully what you can see there is that the wire is trapped very nicely underneath the edge of the screw all the way around. Right? It's not hanging out in different places. It's there's not excess wire exposed. I mean, you know, if you had a little bit of wire, bare wire right in here, that's probably not going to hurt anything. If you got the bare wire coming down a ways here, then you need to trim it and rewrap it around the screw head, right? So that looks pretty good. And of course, the then the white wire will go to this side, the ground will go to here, and I'm going to actually stop the camera to do that so you don't have to watch me do more, but maybe we'll come back in a minute and see if the whole thing works. Okay, so let's see how that works. Okay, so here I have, as advertised, the wires hooked up to this. Now, one of the things that this is a little bit, sorry, this a little bit artificial because this is not coming through the hole in the box, and I'm not going to try to, you know, kind of fold these up and shove them down into the outlet box in the wall, but we can still get a good idea of how this works. And again, I think I've done a good job of getting these wires nice and snug around the screw. I've got them wrapped in the clockwise direction, so as the screw tightens, it tends to close the loop. Okay, and the black wire on the bronze-colored screw, the white wire on the silver, and the ground on the green. Okay, now because this is all exposed like this, what I'm going to do is take my test light here, my light tester here, and go ahead and plug it in first, so that I don't have to touch this part. I don't have to touch this part here with all the exposed metal on it. Okay, and now what I've done on the other end of the wire, of course, in real life, this would be inside the wall. It would either be connecting to another fixture, like a lamp, a switch box, or another outlet, or some other kind of junction like that, the wires, or it would be going all the way to the breaker box and tying into the breaker itself. Okay, but because we're trying to do a demonstration here, I just put a plug on it, so I've essentially made an overgrown extension cord here, or over-engineered extension cord. Now I'll take my plug here and just plug this in, and hopefully the light will light up. Yay, look at that. So it looks like we've been successful. Now, to test this further, I would need to get my test light, plug this in again, get my test light and make sure that I have power going between the white and the black, and no power going between the white and the ground, right? And these kind of, I'll show you that another day, but that's how you test to make sure your wiring is organized properly. But everything seems to be fine right now, and obviously it lit the lamp, so I'm happy about that. Okay, thanks for watching.